Hi, for new big green egg owners, getting the temperature dialed in is one of the biggest learning curves that you're going to have. In this video I'll go over different tips and tricks that I use to get my egg to the proper temperature. Hopefully by the end you'll feel a lot more comfortable and ready to fire it up, whether it's a hot fast steak that you're trying to sear or it's a low and slow pork butt that you want to cook for 16 hours. One of the first things we want to do is get our egg cleaned out. So just go ahead and take your ash tool if you have one. If you have old charcoal in there and you want to kind of move it around, let all that ash fall to the bottom. It'll go down through the grate down at the bottom here. You can kind of see where the grate is there. And you want to get that ash to fall down through there and just leave you the big chunks. So you're going to keep, all the old charcoal you're keeping, you're just getting the ash off of that. You also want to make sure that these little holes right here are not blocked, because that's going to prevent the airflow. Next, we're going to take our ash pan and our ash tool and clean out the bottom, again, for airflow. If you don't have one of these, you can use like a paper plate or something. Also, if you don't have one of these, I'd recommend getting an ash tool. But if you don't, you could just take your whole egg apart and shop vac it out. Just make sure you don't throw away the large chunks. You're going to reuse those. So this goes here, and this goes right in like this to pull it out. So while we're talking about charcoal, not only do you want to clean your egg out to get proper airflow like we just spoke about, but also it matters what type of charcoal you use. So first off, there's used charcoal and there's new charcoal, and as I just went over, you can reuse the old stuff. It's going to take longer to light, and it's going to be harder to get to higher temperatures. So if you are reusing the old stuff, I would recommend throwing in a little bit of new lump charcoal as well. That's going to help you get it lit up and ready to go. Also, it depends what brand you use. I'm not going to tell you, you have to buy a certain brand. We sell Big Green Egg and Jealous Devil and Fogo. We like all of those brands. But just kind of be aware of, depending on how big your chunks are, is going to affect how hot it gets in there. So the larger the chunks, the hotter it's going to get. Some brands and stuff have smaller chunks and just little chips, and they're not really good, and then it's hard to get to higher temperatures. So, however, the flip side is, if there are a bunch of big, large chunks, it could be a little bit difficult to control a low and slow cook for a long period of time. The egg usually keeps its temperature really, really well, but if there's a bunch of large pieces, you never know 4 or 5 hours in when one of those light, if it's gonna go up from 225 to 275 or something on a pork butt you're doing. But you can see here, you want larger pieces. I mean, these aren't even that big, to be honest with you. There's definitely a ton bigger than these, about the size of my hand here. There's definitely bags will have bigger stuff, and that's nice, and that's going to burn really hot. But if your whole bag is full of little chips, that you can fit in your hand, it's going to be a little bit harder to get to the proper temperature. So it kind of just gives you an idea of what you're looking at there, and there's definitely bigger ones that you can use just fresh charcoal. The larger the chunks are, the more air is going to get in there, the hotter it's going to get. Also, kind of a general rule of thumb, here's a little thing I did inside the firebox. If you go to the little vents there, the holes, that's about 4 hours worth of charcoal. The ring is about 8, and all the way to the top gets you about 16, or even more, honestly. And that's just my general, that's a very, very loose estimate of how much charcoal is going to get you how many hours. You'll get used to how much you can get, and obviously you can put in as much as you want because it's not going bad. You just cut off all of the oxygen and reuse whatever's left, but that just gives you a little bit of an idea of how much charcoal you need for different cooks. All right, we did our first 10 minutes with the lid all the way open. Now we're going to do our next 10 minutes with the screen shut here. Here's the screen, if you can see that. But this is wide open. We're not covering any of it. The screen's kind of shut, but this is wide open, so getting a lot of air. The top is wide open. We'll go 10 minutes, and then we'll start adjusting. We're just doing a direct cook today, so we're doing burgers. If you were going to go indirect, this would be the time when you shut the lid to put the convector in as well. and then you'll adjust your two vents to get it to the proper temperature. So make sure if you're going indirect, you're doing a pork butt or you're doing brisket or ribs, you want to put it in now. It's going to drop the temp because you put in a lot more ceramics, but then you take that 10 minutes for it to kind of raise up, and hopefully after 10 minutes we're around like 250 or so, and then we'll adjust from there. Okay, it's been 10 minutes and we are pretty much right at 250, so that's good. We will probably go ahead and clamp this thing down, I don't know, probably about an inch, and then I'll probably go another inch down here just to get to hopefully 375. And I forgot to put the grate in, not big deal, that's not going to raise the temp too much. You can see where we're at in here. Then we'll just give her another 10 minutes and see if we get where we want to, about 400 or so. Okay, so it's been another 10 minutes and we're still only floating around 300, which isn't where I wanted it to be. But this is a good lesson to learn that it's different on different days depending on, it's raining today. It could be how hot it is, how much humidity is in the air, how cold it is, that's going to make it more difficult. Also, the placement of your egg at your house, depending on how much air is flowing, maybe it's between two houses and there's like a wind tunnel, it's going to be harder to regulate there. Or if you have it kind of blocking, facing the house, and it's blocking the wind, that makes it easier to regulate. So it's all different wherever you are located at and however your egg is. So you got to kind of learn your own egg. But this is a good learning lesson. So I didn't open it up enough. So there's the bottom one and the top one. The bottom one's going to be what I would say large adjustments, like a lot of air is going in, and that's going to make large temperature changes. So if we're right around 300, let's see here. Yeah, right around 3. I want to get about 100 degrees more. You can do an adjustment to the bottom one, just that could really shoot it up, or you can do the top. So it's really your choice, like whichever way you want to go. I think I'm probably going to open the top like wide open, just like really let that go and leave the bottom where it is, because the top's not going to adjust it quite as aggressively. So I'm going to go all the way open on the top, and hopefully that brings it up. Once it hits 375, I'll probably just throw the burgers on. I only got 4 of them. They're going to cook fast. And then just kind of go from there. All right, it's been about 5 more minutes with the top wide open. We're just getting close to 400, but I'm getting impatient, so I'm going to throw them down even though I wanted a little bit higher. So it's been like 35 minutes total, but it's a good learning lesson. Next time, open them up a little bit more. We're a little bit over an inch down there. That one's wide open. I throw these burgers down and rock and roll. Once you open it now, you can see all the flame picking up because a lot more oxygen is going in there. So you never want to just leave your egg open like this and walk away. It's just going to, you can see it's just getting hotter and hotter and the flames are picking up and it'll get like crazy out of control. So we're going to go ahead and shut it and wait a couple minutes, check on these burgers. You can see our egg is still holding just under 400 since we put the meat on there. I mean, that's the thing about the egg. It's just going to hold its temperature so incredibly well. And we'll take a look at these bad boys. So, to summarize everything, you want to make sure your firebox is cleaned out, your charcoal and ash is out, put in some new charcoal. Then I like to do the 10-10-10 method, 10 minutes with the egg all the way open right after you lit it, 10 minutes with the lid shut and the top and bottom open, and then adjust it to where you think it's going to be at 10 minutes from there. If you want to go to like 225, I put like just a sliver on the top and just a sliver on the bottom. If you want to go to like 350 where we got today, you do like an inch on the top and an inch on the bottom. This is all relative, so the big takeaway from this is that you got to learn your egg by experimenting with it. So I would recommend, if you just got an egg, also get yourself a 6-pack of beer, fire that thing up, do the 10-10-10 method, and then just sit there. You don't even have to cook anything. Sit there for an hour or so, adjusting the top a little bit, adjusting the bottom, wait another 15 minutes, see where it's at, adjust it again. And you just got to kind of look at it and go from there, and you'll get the idea of where you want it to be, where you need it to be for your low and slow cooks, and then where you need it to be for your higher cooks when you're doing direct cooks. Hope this was helpful. Don't forget to subscribe if you want more Big Green Egg content. And also, if you want to know about lighting your eggs specifically, click the video on your screen now.